And there we go.
Okay. Hello and welcome to our second annual Agencies of Change poster show and our first time hosting virtually. We are very excited to welcome all of you to talk about the incredible work that Raphael House does for our community and to see this year's limited edition posters. The theme this year is Culture of Empowerment. We may feel vulnerable, helpless, even hopeless, but we can find strength in our community. We can grow through interconnectedness. We can lift each other up, reclaim our agency, find the power we hold inside of us, and in turn, power our communities, helping others to thrive. We can change our world for the better. We can create a culture of empowerment. Hi, everybody. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Zipporah. I go by Zip for short, ZIP. I am a senior designer at Murmur Creative, and I will be your co-host for this evening. Joining me as co-host is the amazing Crystal Jeffries, our brand producer at Murmur Creative.
Hi, everyone. Like Zip mentioned, my name is Crystal, and I'm a producer here at Murmur Creative, and I have been lucky enough to be chosen to co-host this event, and I can't wait for us to get started. You guys have so much awesomeness in store for you. Just a quick background. We at Murmur choose the featured nonprofit every year together. We each get to present the nonprofits that we individually support and then vote anonymously as a company on which nonprofit the proceeds from the Agencies of Change poster show go to. It's a great process, an opportunity to learn about nonprofits both locally and nationally and the specific community that they help and serve. And this year I chose Raphael House, and I'm so glad that they won for many reasons, but of course because of the amazing work that they do. It was clear that the proceeds from this year's poster show would be benefiting a really great cause. Providing a safe and supportive environment for domestic violence survivors is a very important and dear cause to me. I've personally lost people in my life to domestic violence and know how significant the work is that Raphael House does. So I'm super grateful that they're here with us tonight. And just a reminder that all proceeds from this event will go directly to Raphael House, and also please consider donating directly to them through the website.
Yes, thank you, Crystal.
Yeah.
And speaking of their website, this is what you will see when you go to raphaelhouse.com. If you want to make a donation, you click the donate button in the top right corner. You see that pink arrow and that purple button that says donate? That is what you want to click. And then you are brought to this page. This is what their donation page looks like. Just a reminder, if you are making the $5 suggested donation to Raphael House, please fill in the how do you hear about Raphael House field, that's towards the bottom where the pink arrow is, with either Agencies of Change or poster show, so we can keep track of all the funds that our event has generated for this incredible nonprofit. Does everyone see that? Okay. We appreciate you spending the evening with us on Zoom. Before we dive in, here's a quick overview of tonight's agenda. Up next, we'll watch a short video about Raphael House and hear from their donor and external relations manager, Amanda Ives, followed by a video sharing a Raphael House survivor's story. Then we get to see some posters.
Yeah.
After a brief intermission, we'll be back to watch another short video from Raphael House about their youth involvement and preventative education programs. Then more posters. And then followed by our Q&A panel featuring some of this year's artists. We are just so pleased to be fundraising for Raphael House of Portland. They provide life-saving shelter and wraparound support for survivors of domestic violence, helping them to achieve safety, hope, and independence. Let's begin by watching this short video that talks about some of their main offerings.
Here at Raphael House, we know that survivors are the experts in their own lives, and we are able to empower them to walk alongside of other survivors so that they too can achieve lasting stability.
So for more than 40 years, Raphael House has been providing emergency domestic violence shelters for survivors fleeing abuse. For about the last 10 years plus, we have been offering long-term follow-up supportive services as well. And now it's really exciting that we are opening up and delving into peer-based mentor programming.
We see survivors who come back to shelter and they'll connect with a new shelter participant. And we've watched how that new shelter participant is really struggling and having a hard time. And we've watched the thriving survivor who has been out of shelter for a few years, who's really making amazing strides in their life, to come to that person and say, you know what, I've been there and it's gonna be okay.
And now that I'm stable now, with the help of Raphael House, I come back and I attend groups. I bring my experience, I bring my hopes, advice. I try to help them know their self-worth.
Cuando yo estaba en los grupos, aprendí de las participantes motivación, que sí se puede seguir adelante, que si uno quiere puede cumplir las metas que uno se proponga.
Allowing programs and space and support so survivors can continue to build community is absolutely crucial. One of those programs is our Domestic Violence Recovery Mentors. And this is survivors who have not only been survivors of domestic violence, but who have gone through their own journey in recovery too, to build support and connection with those survivors who are at a different place in their journey. Another one of Raphael House programs that we have expanded to is our SWAG program. This is through our Shelter to Stability program in order to connect survivors at all the shelters in our local area to come together and have an opportunity to connect and network with each other, but also to learn from other experts in different fields who also may be survivors as well.
In almost every case of domestic violence, financial abuse is indeed a part of it. And so that's where SWAG comes in, which stands for Survivors Are Worthy, Awesome, and Gutsy. And SWAG offers survivors an opportunity to come back in once a week, and they get an opportunity to learn about financial management. And they connect with a community professional to talk about education, or its employment, or its finance, or its housing. When survivors support each other, it is hope. All is not lost. And they get a chance to come side by side with one another and walk this journey together.
Survivor peer-to-peer support is crucial because no one can explain what it's like to go through that journey other than people who have walked similar paths. There's something really unique about survivors who've actually been through our programs and been through the system here in our local community to be able to give that direct feedback to each other.
As a survivor of domestic violence, it's important to me to give back what was so freely given to me, as well as to give back to the agency that helped save my life. I have all of these tools and I want to give them all, and I want them to get better, and I want them to be free, and I know in the bigger picture that I'm helping save someone's life.
Wow, so powerful. Swag, I love that. That's awesome. It's obvious that Raphael House is doing a lot of really amazing work, and I think we're going to hear a little bit more about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right, Crystal. Now is a great time to turn it over to Amanda Ives, who is the Donor and External Relations Manager for Raphael House. Welcome, Amanda. Thanks for being with us this evening.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. It's a wonderful way to start following that video, and members of our team who have come through our programs, seeing families that we've served. That's kind of the heart of Raphael House, is community. And helping people build the lives that they had once been only able to dream of, taking them from crisis to stability. And as you learned a little bit in that video, we've been around for more than 40 years supporting domestic violence survivors in our community. And largely, for a lot of those years, that was emergency shelter. So a safe, confidential place for families to go to when they were in the greatest danger. And unfortunately, that's when they're fleeing an abusive partner. What's wonderful is that our programs have been able to grow and evolve so much since then. That early beginning in 1977. And you learned a little bit about our survivor-led programming like SWAG, which I love, our domestic violence recovery mentors, but we also have a lot of wraparound long-term supportive services for families, meaning that we get to be here for survivors for as long as they need after they leave our shelter, and they start to build these new lives and they heal and they grow after abuse. The time they spend with us living at Raphael House is just this tiny window compared to their whole lives and what they have ahead of them. And something that I love about that you'll see in one of the later videos is we get to have lasting, meaningful relationships. So we have kiddos that were little people in our programs who've grown up coming back to support group every week with their parents, coming back for activities, staying connected with our staff. We have a staff member who was just a participant's first job reference 8 years later because they still have a connection to that youth. And that means that we really get to help people rebuild their lives, and that's what Raphael House is about. We also don't want to always just be responding to violence and abuse. We would love to put ourselves out of business. That would be the goal, is to someday not be needed in our community because domestic and sexual violence don't happen anymore. So for many, many years, since 2006, we have been doing prevention work in schools, in the community, teaching young people about healthy and equitable relationships, about consent, about warning signs, and essentially, hopefully putting ourselves out of business and ensuring that everybody has the consensual, equitable relationships they deserve. So you'll learn more about that in a little bit, but I wanted to quickly touch on how important this event is in helping raise funds for our programs. The work that we do is almost entirely made possible because of the generosity of our wonderful community. And you can see on the screen just a little snippet of the impact that gifts have at Raphael House. And I have the honor and privilege of being able to see every single day how each dollar really does count. $100, that 24 hours of safe shelter and wraparound support is so much more than some place for people to sleep and to stay. It is safety. It is safety when you haven't known safety. It's a place where you can sleep because you know that your kids are safe. It's someplace where you're surrounded by experts who can help you move forward with your life. And we're so, so grateful to be the beneficiary. So excited to see all the poster designs, and just so thrilled and grateful for all of you that are joining this evening. So thanks, Zip and Crystal and your whole team, and thanks to everyone who's here. It is my very great honor to introduce the next video, which is the story of two people who are very dear to me, that I've had the honor of working with since I first started at Raphael House in 2011. They've been part of our programs for a long time. A very special mother and daughter named Angelia and Destiny, and this is their story.
Thank you so much, Amanda, and thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thanks.
Destiny has been through more in her almost 17 years of life than many people will ever experience in the entirety of theirs. Lovey, she just lives in the moment, and that is the most beautiful thing. I grew up in a home that was very dysfunctional. I was not given the ability to learn how to say no or to set boundaries for myself. So the relationships that I was in after leaving my parents' home were all very, very abusive.
I didn't really have my own identity at all. I remember my dad kind of dressed me up as a boy a lot, and he cut my hair at one point, and I didn't really feel like I was my own person until I was 8 or 9 and was not kind of being suffocated by him all the time.
I think that because of the environment that you and I were in with your father, it caused a whole lot of that. It was a very brainwashing, psychologically damaging environment, and she was a victim as well as myself being a victim. It was May of 2011. I had given Destiny a black trash bag, and we had a very small car, and I said, just get some clothes and whatever you want, and we threw it in the car and we drove. My abuser had found out that we were in Oregon, so he was making the trek to come and get us in Oregon. And so luckily, before he found us, we were blessed and found a spot at Raphael House. If we hadn't been let into Raphael House that night, I honestly don't know that we would be alive right now. You can't think like a normal, rational person when you're in like a super fight or flight type mode. To finally feel safe removes so much. My daughters have always seen this place as truly a safe place.
When we first got into the Raphael House, it was nice to have so many supportive people finally around. There were other kids that I could relate to and life experience, which wasn't really something that I had before.
In terms of my own growth, I think that started on that day and it hasn't stopped. The work is never done. I engage with my immediate community and I engage with Raphael House's community as much as I possibly can with continuing therapy groups, trauma recognition group, anything that I can do to consistently remind myself of who I am, where I've come from, and where I'm going. I attend groups about how to handle my money, groups on parenting, groups. If you name it and you want to learn about it, they'll figure it out and they'll bring somebody to talk to you about it.
I was really sad to leave Raphael House after a couple months because I'd really found so much of like my personality there. I feel like I'd really become my own person. But I was excited to be able to kind of start over as just the three of us and be able to have our own place and go to school and have, I don't know, what I saw then as a normal childhood. I started out coming back and helping with childcare a lot, and I would watch kids while their moms were in groups and stuff, and it's nice to be able to feel like I'm that person for someone else when I really needed that person here and someone was there for me.
What I learned from Raphael House was there was a lot that we had to go through together, but our relationship through that grew into amazing.
Oh man, I've seen that video multiple times and I fight back tears the entire time. So excuse me, but we're so grateful that Angelia and Destiny shared their story with us. And thanks again, Amanda, for being here to represent Raphael House. We're so grateful to have you. We're here to support Raphael House, and how can you do that? You can donate, of course, but you can also buy posters. Mm-hmm. So are you guys ready to see some of the posters?
Yes, we are, Crystal. We are
awesome.
Ready.
So in poster video part 1 out of 2, so there's 2 parts to the video. We'll view the first half of this year's poster designs. There are 8 posters in this video, and we'll see the additional 8 more in part 2 a little bit later on.
Yep.
Peacebird was inspired by the morning dove, in which it stands for new beginnings, significant possibilities, and as a spiritual guide. All these symbols are what many survivors flock to when taking flight from their abuse or oppression.
Maya Angelou was a poet, author, composer, and civil rights activist. Truly a national treasure, Angelou worked tirelessly for over 50 years for the advancement of civil rights. Still I Rise, from 1978, is from a collection of poems by the same name. About the poem, Angelou has said, "All my work is meant to say, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, the encountering may be the very experience which creates the vitality and the power to endure." The message is as powerful and poignant as it ever was. This poster is meant as a tribute to this great American woman, Maya Angelou, 1928 to 2014.
I'm Jennifer Bryan, Creative Director and founder of Think Jewel, and we are thrilled to be participating in Agencies of Change and designing a poster in support of Raphael House. Our process was highly collaborative. The design itself went through many designers' hands in our studio, going through refinement, as well as our content director being involved in helping us refine our theme of elephants. And elephants are a matriarchal society. And while the males and the bulls are a very important part of that society, they don't actually live in the herd. The herd is badass, female-led mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts. They all come together to form a female-led herd. So it's a highly loyal, tightly knit group of females forming a very supportive community, that interconnectedness. And the basis of our design, the daisy chain of the tail to nose, really symbolizes trust in that community, faith that we're headed in the right direction. And hopefully we brought in a little bit of whimsy to symbolize the joy of just being part of something larger than ourselves. So like the she elephant, we hope that this design really inspires confidence. Confident that we are all confident enough to lead the way. Vulnerability. Elephants are a highly vulnerable species, and that we are vulnerable enough to understand that there's safety in numbers. And also intelligence. Elephants are the most intelligent creature, and that we are intelligent enough to trust our own instincts and trust our own inner voice. Hopefully this poster inspires us all to nurture these traits and embrace our own herd. We hope you enjoy this poster as much as we enjoyed designing it.
The concept behind my poster was positive affirmations. The idea was to remind the community of Raphael House Portland of their own strength. It's very easy for people to discredit their own experiences and themselves as not that brave or not that strong. My poster is aiming to remind people of their own value and their worth and remind them to not downplay their experiences. I included an image of a gladiolus, which is a symbol for strength, and a protea, which is a symbol for courage. I included the last line, "You are loved," to remind the community and employees of Raphael House Portland that even when they feel alone, there are so many people out in this world that love them and care about them, even without knowing them.
For survivors, the path to safety and stability is not often easy or straightforward. It can feel like a maze. This poster represents that journey and finding the power to thrive in the process. We designed the poster with the Rizzo in mind, restrained color palette with available ink/paper and iconic imagery that would translate well to the printing technique. Combining iconography of a maze and keyhole with a constellation of support behind survivors best express the concept to lift up and unlock hope for them.
My name is Nicole Niederhofer, and I'm the Associate Design Director at Madfish Digital. Madfish Digital is a B Corp certified, values-driven digital marketing agency focused on creating elevated experiences for our employees, our clients, and of course our community. We chose the statement, "Lift others up." Our strength is in our community and the energy we bring into the world. By lifting others up, we are giving our community the power for change and for helping each other get through hard times. For this poster, I wanted to show how the layers of type are like the layers of community, layering lift others and up on top of each other. I chose the purple, which is the hue associated with ending domestic abuse, and also a color representing power, peace, and pride, intersecting it with two types of yellows. The yellows symbolize optimism, and the out of the darkness is sunshine. We worked with Outlet PDX to have these printed and appreciate their help with bringing this to light.
Hi, my name is BB Anderson. I'm in quarantine and transmitting from my studio apartment. And I'm the creator of the poster entitled "Just Wear a Mask Already." I wanted to address an issue that seems pretty innocuous, but I think has some strong ramifications, which is wearing a mask in public. I wanted the message to be pretty direct and straightforward, and also have a sense of humor about itself. On the news, we've all witnessed instances of people in public refusing to wear a mask, saying that it infringes on their rights. I think it is imperative, though, to protect ourselves in order to protect the people around us. Wearing a mask is a simple practice, and the safety of individuals in our community depends on it. Many of them have compromised health systems, or don't have access to the amenities that we take for granted, like basic health care. So I say, for the empowerment of the individuals in our community, be smart, be safe, wear a mask, and just care for the people around you. Thank you so much.
To me, a culture of empowerment means uplifting everyone in your community at any scale by working together to support each other through resources, knowledge, and even just spending the time to listen to someone can make a difference in someone's life.
That is our first video for the posters, part 1. Amazing, right? That is so great to hear from the artists. And you're probably thinking, I want some of these posters now. Well, guess what? You can. Crystal will walk through the poster shop.
Yeah. So you'll find the link in the chat. And if you joined a little bit later on, we'll be reposting the links during intermission. So you'll get it at that point. But let me share my screen so you can see the website and how to buy posters.
We love tutorials. This is
I do. I love a good tutorial. Yeah, of course. Sorry, there's some stuff in the way. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Thumbs up. Okay. So once you click on the link and scroll down just a little bit, you'll see a little bit of intro information. And what this is telling you is, once you've added your posters to the cart, and I'll walk you through this in a little bit, but you'll have 2 options during checkout of how to get your posters. You can either have them shipped to you, which is a little bit of an additional, shipping cost, and the posters will be sent to you in a poster tube. Or if you're local to Portland, you can stop by the Murmur Creative office at 1300 Southeast Stark, room 208, and pick up your poster in person, which is our kind of preferred method, because we get to see your lovely faces, but also they're not rolled up, so it's a little bit nicer. But those dates, those pickup dates are throughout the month of August, and they're Tuesdays from 10 to noon, and then Thursdays from 4 to 6. So you'll be able to choose that during checkout, and I'll show you how. So I'll click on the poster I'd like and add to cart. And you'll notice the price is $30 a poster. But because I love them all, you can actually go next down here. I'm going to add this one to the cart too, you guys. And you'll notice that there's a little bit of a discount down here. And that's because if you buy more than 1 poster in one checkout instance, they're actually $25 a piece. So buy lots of posters. It pays to buy tons of posters. So you'll notice instead of the total being 60, which would be 30 a piece, it's actually 50 because they're 25 a piece. One other huge perk is if you buy 4 or more posters, you'll get a digital portrait from our amazing designer, Mark Gerard, who is with us tonight as well. And you've probably seen kind of the profile photos that Zip and I both have, and those sketches on a couple of the slides that we showed before. But basically, we'll reach out to you to get a picture of either like yourself or whoever you want the digital sketch of, and we will, Mark, our amazing designer, will make a digital drawing of you and send it to you. And you can use those for, your profile photo like we did, or like your computer background. You can, print it out and frame it, put it on your fireplace, or you can make stickers of it, magnets of it. One use case for the stickers I was thinking of, which is genius, is you could put stickers on your food in your fridge so your roommate doesn't eat your food.
Yeah.
So you can put your face on anything, really.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 more posters gets you that. And then just from here on out, it's pretty standard checkout. You enter all your information. Make sure you put in a good email address, because we will be reaching out to you. Specifically, if you buy 4 more posters, we'll be reaching out to you personally, but also to get your receipt and everything else. So make sure you put a good email in here. And then once you say continue to shipping, you'll notice there's some options here for pickup and also ship. So if you want it shipped to you, obviously you'll click ship. But if you're here local and planning on picking up, you'll choose your date and time slot. So forgive me, they're a little bit out of order, so make sure you pay attention to which date you pick. But look, I'm going to pick tomorrow, because you can pick your poster up tomorrow if you're ready.
That's right, everyone. If you buy posters tonight and want them tomorrow, you can pick them up tomorrow from 10 to 12.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, they're ready. So I'm going to choose tomorrow from 10 to noon, and I'm going to say continue to payment. And you'll notice it gives you the option here to go to PayPal, and it's totally fine if you don't have a PayPal account. You can actually check out with a debit or credit card. So give it a little bit. It has to think about it to get over to PayPal, but it will get over there. And you'll either log in through your PayPal account if you have one, or if you don't or can't remember the password like me, then you'll go to pay with debit or credit card and fill out your debit card information. Just has to think about it. My computer's a little bit slow when it's running Zoom. There we go. So the only thing I wanted to point out too is it will ask you for like a shipping address, and that's just kind of standard PayPal information. Even if you did put in that you're going to pick it up locally, go ahead and fill that in. PayPal requires it. And then of course you can make an account with PayPal if you want, and then you'll click pay now. And at that point you'll get your receipt for your posters and be able to go pick those up tomorrow.
Thank you, Crystal. That was awesome. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I like a walkthrough.
Me too. Okay, let's get back to our presentation. Okay. Now that we're back to our presentation, it is intermission time. So we're going to take a brief intermission, allowing you to stretch out, refill your beverage, grab a snack, but don't venture off too far because we'll be back in 15 minutes.
Donate and buy posters too.
Yes, you can buy posters. We'll put the links in the chat.
Yeah.
I'd also like to note that heads up, the intermission video has music, so get ready to dance for 15 minutes. Here we go. That was it for music. We are counting down 20 seconds left of intermission. So if you're pouring that drink, you better hurry up.
Keep pouring. Keep pouring. You have 14 seconds. Feels like New Year's Eve.
I know, it does. To see more posters, that's the countdown. To see more. All righty then.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. We hope you found that break refreshing and are ready to learn more about Raphael House, see more posters, yeah, and hear from some of this year's artists. First, I want to give a huge shout out to our wonderful sponsors. A huge thank you to Outlet, Seizure Palace, and Stevens Integrated Solutions for donating print sponsorships to a few of our participating artists and for being so great to work with. Always appreciate it. You guys are amazing. And also a huge hungry thank you to Laughing Planet for providing a coupon for a free cookie with purchase of meal to all participants. So you'll be getting that coupon in your email after the event.
Yes, you will.
I always love a free cookie, sorry.
Yes, free cookie. Their cookies are really good, by the way. I recommend the chocolate chip. Okay, let's watch our last short video about Raphael House. Did you know that Raphael House supports more than 300 children and teen survivors a year? This video gives us a glimpse inside their youth and family-centered services. These include preventative school-based education programs that teach about healthy relationships, like Amanda talked about earlier. We're also going to hear from youth survivors in the video. I'd like to note that even though this will be the last Raphael House video we show today, if you want to learn more, you can watch more stories and videos on the Raphael House website. That link is in your chat window. Here we go.
I learned from Raphael House to believe in yourself, and there are some good people out there. Raphael House was kind, and it helped me and my mother so much. I don't know how I could ever thank them.
Raphael House's approach to serving youth is to see those youth as survivors, as we see the protective parent as survivors. They come here terrified from the trauma, and what we get to do is we get to interrupt that process, and we really do see change with the youth that come through here.
I would tell another kid that Raphael House was fun and helped my mom, and my mom felt happy. I loved living in Raphael House.
Youth experiences and voices are often dismissed and not seen as important, so we worked really hard to make sure that staff and volunteers saw the importance to providing support for youth.
Because I was never the type of person to talk to people about my situations or my problems. And Raphael House made it to where I didn't feel forced to do that. It was they took out time to figure out me for who I am. Because I could talk to them when I couldn't talk to nobody else. They just look at you as an individual, and that gave me a lot of inspiration.
At Raphael House, we model healthy relationships. We teach healthy relationships in both our intervention programs, our shelter, our follow-up services, our housing programs, as well as our prevention programs in the schools. For over 12 years, our prevention program has been in local schools. We teach prevention education curriculum for a little over 4,000 youth every year.
This partnership is important to our school's mission because it provides our students with life skills. In order for our students to be happy and thriving adults, they need this preventative education and go off into society as healthy people, that they raise healthy families and can draw healthy boundaries.
When you're in the classroom as a peer educator and you see someone start to come out of their shell and maybe share a little bit about their own experience or their own knowledge, it's not only gratifying, obviously, but just you can see the culture changing.
This is really exciting because we are working to end the cycle of violence in the work we do at our shelter and our follow-up services, and where we're really going to get to build the momentum to break the cycle of violence is with youth.
And we've seen this ripple effect of change. I mean, we see people coming to Raphael House in different programs, Shelter Advocacy Center, and then in the schools that people are engaged around what consent looks like in healthy relationships, and students are advocating for that education. And so that is how we're going to end violence, is by communities coming together and valuing what these positive, healthy, consensual relationships look like.
Y'all, if that doesn't make you want to buy more posters, then I don't know. So we are going to go on to our part 2 of the poster video.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see all of it.
Here we go. That was so great to hear about the youth programs, preventative.
I went through a lot of uncertainty about my experiences and their relevancy to anyone else's life while making this. I kept telling myself things like, this is too obvious, or this will make someone feel alienated or alone. I've said these words in anger, in assertion, and in outrage. I've said them to police officers and friends and family and my abuser. They were the most important words that they needed to hear, and they often weren't. My experience is, unfortunately, pretty normal. I hope this makes someone feel less alone and more heard in some small way.
Metamorphosis. Fly free through turned leaf and tree, till love's all you see. This poster design was inspired by the incredible changes Raphael House is making in the lives of everyone it touches, and 2 great quotes. One by the Greek philosopher Heraclitus, who said that the only constant in life is change. The second, a quote from the great Martin Luther King Jr., when he said, "I have decided to stick to love. Hate is too great a burden to bear." The purpose of this poster is to be a calming reminder that inspires and affirms that when we seek love and leave hate behind, the sky is the limit.
No matter how tough the now is, tomorrow will always bring a new day, and with that, a bright future. This poster is 11 by 17 and is risograph printed on craft stock. The yellow overspray was done by hand, so each poster is unique.
My name's Devin Kelly from Sasquatch Advertising. This year we are submitting a poster called Time to Fly. Instead of screen printing like we did last year with our Thrive poster, we did it on a linoleum block print. It was printed on some really nice French paper, 140-pound sweet tooth pop tone. Turned out really nice. We're gonna still be cranking them out. The final dimensions ended up being 14 inches wide by 24 inches tall. So a little unusual, but we think it looks really nice.
The struggle to free oneself may be a long journey or a singular moment. Symbolized in Time to Fly is the moment of truth, to escape from harm and self-doubt distilled into the most primeval need for one's own safety.
Hi everyone. This poster was inspired by the wise words of Queen Rania Al Abdullah of the country of Jordan. She is a proponent of public education and empowering communities through her investment of entrepreneurial pursuits. She is especially drawn to programs that uplift women and children. I wanted to share with you the longer version of her quote. When a woman succeeds, she reaches out to those around her and pulls them up with her. That is why if you empower a woman, you'll empower a whole society. At Brawley Design Co., a woman-owned small business branding studio in Portland, Oregon, We chose to use hand lettering to convey the personal nature of the Queen's quote. A soft color palette nodding to skincare and makeup tones such as rose, blush, and copper was used in conjunction with decorative elements inspired by Middle Eastern traditional design. We hope this poster allows the viewer a moment to stop and reflect on how society gains when women are supported to reach their full potential. Many thanks to you from me, Megan, and my colleagues Zoe and Tim.
Protect Black women and every Black child. This poster design is a picture collage of Black children and a Black mother holding her baby. Designed by Emily Carpenter Monroe and copywriter Olivia Chack-Wynn. Emily focuses her art and design around Black women, spirituality, and advocacy. She is an excellent illustrator and photographer. She specializes in branding, logos, illustration, and social media management. Her life's ambition is to become the first Black woman to own her own design firm that prioritizes BIPOC and LGBTQ+ clients. Olivia is a copywriter and strategist who has experience in healthcare communications and building digital presences for startup organizations. Her top killer skills are brand strategy, general and medical copywriting, project management, and a splash of basic design.
A silhouette of butterfly wings made from rocks, flowers, and old advertising. The image is very colorful.
Hi everyone, my name is Renee Damala and I am the art director at Murmur Creative. We're a multidisciplinary agency specializing in branding, web, and packaging for clients across a really wide array of industries. This is also our second year hosting the Agencies of Change poster show through Design Week Portland. And although we can't all be together in person, we're super honored by all of the hard work from the designers and agencies and artists who've contributed to Raphael House this year. This year our poster is titled Heat, Pressure, Time. And the process by which those three elements, heat, pressure, and time, produce gemstones is called metamorphism. And we all know gemstones as these perfect, kind of beautiful, prized natural objects, but we felt like they were also a great metaphor for the survivors of domestic abuse, not only surviving, but thriving. Another important aspect of this year's poster concept is that it's collaborative across multiple facets of the Murmur team. It features artwork created by members of our web department, our project management team, our photographer, and of course our design team to produce something that's creatively inclusive of all the talent in our workplace. As an added bonus, we designed the piece to be reflective of this kind of 1970s science poster, so it looks pretty cool, and we hope that you like it.
Awesome. So now you've seen all 16 of this year's limited edition posters. So are you ready to meet some of the artists whose work you've been drooling over? I am. So
we are.
Yeah. We have an amazing panel of artists who will be answering some of the questions that you submitted prior to the show. And we'd like to remind you to select speaker view on your Zoom window so that you can see their beautiful faces as they answer questions and talk to you. But let's get started. We have Jennifer Bryan, founding partner and creative director at Think Jewel. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for being here. We have Devin Kelly, senior designer at Sasquatch. Hi, Devin. Thanks for being here. We have Megan Garashian, designer and founder of Raleigh Design Co. Hi, Megan. We have Violet Penning, one of the artists representing Raphael House as a community supporter. Hi, Violet. Thank you for being here. We have Robert Jabracascio, one of our participating artists. Hi, Robert. Good to see you. And then, of course, we have Renee Damala, our art director at Murmur Creative. Hi, Renee.
Hey. That's a great looking panel.
Yeah, I know, some good looking people.
Yes, we are going to ask each panelist a few questions that were submitted prior to our show. Let's dive in. Our first question goes to Devin. How do you think art and design most impacts social justice?
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Devin.
Art impacting social justice. I mean, it's everywhere, right? From film to 2D art to sculpture to architecture. When I think of art that impacts society and social culture the most, I think of Andy Warhol. That's kind of just where my mind goes. But it's more of a reflection on society. So I think artists should and do focus a lot on what they think and what others feel, and use that to create symbols, art to impact others and get others to start a conversation that enables people to think a little deeper and come up with maybe a deeper understanding of themselves and others and what they look at on a day-to-day basis. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
yeah.
Now we're going to ask the same question to Megan. How do you think art and design most impact social justice?
Great question. So when I think of like public art, street art, and I think about social justice and something along the lines of like maybe a Banksy sort of installation, and how we all have dialogue around it and it kind of shapes what people are thinking about and talking about. I think that's something that we all understand about art and design and social justice. But I was also reflecting on the role of the consumer and, for example, the posters and the poster purchases you make, or the t-shirts or the bumper sticker or the things you repost and share in your social media, and how the consumer, the viewer, the beholder of the art has a lot to add to the impact of the meaning of that art. Not only does it impact them personally, that wow, that artist is speaking for me, is speaking for something that I hold in my heart too, but maybe I didn't have the means or the ability or just the impetus to share it with the world. But by me, the consumer, making this purchase or making this repost, this t-shirt, what have you, I'm able to take art and design and multiply the impact that it might have, and also embolden myself and anybody that views my use of this art or design as a consumer.
Absolutely. Great answers, Devin and Megan. That is awesome. That was so great to hear from both of you. Thank you so much for answering our first question. Our second question goes to Jennifer. What does a culture of empowerment mean to you, and how did it influence your process in creating your design?
Hi, everyone. Well, first of all, a culture of empowerment. I mean, what greater example than what we're all doing right here in this event? So, I mean, Zip and Crystal and Amanda, first of all, it's been inspiring and so much fun to be a part of. But I mean, this to me is a primary example of that. Also, just reflecting back on the video that we saw of Angela and Destiny. And when Destiny was saying how she came back to volunteer in childcare because she wanted to be that person for somebody else.
Yes, yes.
Culture of empowerment. So it's about showing up. It's about saying yes. It's about, you know, creating opportunity. It's about accepting opportunity when it comes your way, and ultimately lifting each other up. That to me is a culture of empowerment. Absolutely. And everyone on this call is an example of that.
Yes.
How it influenced our process is, you know, we had a lot of different ideas coming into this, I think when we were, the theme that you had for it, finding strength in community, interconnectedness, reclaiming your agency, those are some of the things that really spoke to us. And ironically, as a company, we had just seen this video that we sent around to each other of a mama elephant giving birth. Oh. Have you seen that? It's
no,
amazing.
I haven't.
It's amazing. So she gives birth. First of all, come on, warrior. How long is, 22 months of pregnancy. Then she, but she gives birth and the whole herd came in and surrounded.
Wow.
And protected the mother and the baby. And we just kept coming back to that as a symbol of, of empowerment and a symbol of being surrounded by community. That supportive environment of a herd and being part of something, that somebody that has your back. So you're expected to participate where you can, you're expected to contribute where you can, and you support one another. Sometimes we need to ask for help. Sometimes we need to be the ones reaching out to offer help. Mm-hmm. And we really wanted that to come through in our design.
Oh my gosh. I love that story. I love that little insight into your poster. That's amazing. And that's so true. We need to be there for each other. We need to support each other, lift each other up. That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Much. Now let's hear from Renee. Same question. What does a culture of empowerment mean to you? And how did it influence our process at Murmur in creating this design?
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one because that was a really good answer.
Yes.
I think when I see this kind of a question, I want to break apart like the two components of it. There's empowerment and how do we define that? Like for me, empowerment is the opposite of oppression. It's that feeling of freedom, even the freedom to fail and to recover. And then I look at the word culture, and to me that means systemic. And what is systemic about empowerment? I feel like, there's no middle ground. You've either built a system that empowers people or you haven't. And it has to start at the ground level, which I really feel like our poster process achieved. And I'm going to speak on behalf of, all of Murmur here. And I only did one little stone on a really big poster. But I think we've always, really sought to be an egalitarian workplace. We've always wanted to make sure that people are heard and valued day to day, that their voice carries the same weight as another person's voice. That's empowering to me. And so, when we came up with the concept for this poster, we wanted to make sure that it was reflected in the actual work. And so bringing in people from all different disciplines was what was going to do that for us. Mm-hmm. Whoever wanted to contribute could contribute, and there were no expectations and a lot of freedom. And somehow it all worked itself out.
Yes, it did. I'm very pleased with our poster. Thank you so much, Renee. Our third question goes to Robert. What is your favorite way to empower others in your community?
Well, I like to volunteer for one. I'm like a lifer volunteer, but I also run an after-school program called Painters for Peace, which is not happening right now because of what's going on. But I think that it's important to acknowledge the reservations of the next generation and teach them how to address it in a way that creates change. It's my favorite because it's some of the most influential and formatic years of their life. Mm-hmm. I also enjoy being around kids because I like to act like a kid. So with that said, that's my favorite way to empower others in my community, is just help them find a way to where they have a voice. Mm-hmm. Teach them how to use that voice in a proactive way, but also how to get some of the things that they want and need to succeed as students.
Yeah, and it sounds like using a creative outlet too with them.
Oh yeah. We paint, and we've painted at PCC, Jefferson High School, and right now there's a place called Reclaim It that wants us to paint a mural when the school year starts. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I need to share all the murals on social media. So I'm going to get that from Robert and then post it on Agencies of Change so you guys can see that work that he's doing. That's great, Robert. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so our last question, we're going to start with Violet. Why did you want to participate in this event, and what about the event spoke to you?
So domestic violence has been something I've struggled to talk about for a long time. Like I've been seeing my experience as invalid or unimportant. And I wanted to be vulnerable in a way that was meaningful and hopefully empowering to other survivors. And I thought that this was a good way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Your poster was like very empowering when I saw it when it came in, because I got a sneak peek at all of them from coordinating the event like that. Yes. Thank you so much for opening up to us. That was very powerful. And you painted that, correct?
Yeah, I painted that on
Yeah, so it's a painting, and then we made digital copies of the painting that Violet made. Yes. Thank you, Violet.
Thank you.
Megan, can we come back to you and ask you the same question about why did you want to participate in this event, and what about the event spoke to you?
Okay, so I wanted to participate as a studio, as a designer, because I hold Murmur Creative in very high esteem, and I was able to attend the Agency of Change poster show last year, bought all kinds of cool posters that went to my daughter's apartment in college in Eugene, and it was a great experience. So I thought, oh, you know, yippee, I get to participate this year.
Yes.
And then what spoke to me about this particular event and this year's theme, my childhood was shaped by domestic violence. My mom was a victim of domestic abuse, and her marriage ended when I was 6. And then my mom was able to get back on her feet and create stability for my brothers and me. And I've often thought on, wow, you know, how fortunate we were to be the beneficiaries of my mom's ability to create that stability, and how it enabled us to go on and become adults that, you know, we were able to form healthy relationships. And so it didn't turn out, even though her marriage was stuck in that for a while, it didn't turn out to be something that marred us, you know, indefinitely. Mm-hmm. And we all grew and learned from it and thrived in the face of that. So this was really special to be able to do a project talking about, and in our case, our poster, empowering women.
Yes, and that quote was beautiful that you chose. How'd you choose that quote?
So my husband is, he's Middle Eastern, and when I was looking for quotes about empowerment, I was focusing on, you know, for the angle of women, and I saw that, and that's the Queen of Jordan, and so it just spoke to me. I've always had an eye out for Middle Eastern design, and so I got out some reference material, and it was just a pleasure to put all those interests together in the effort for that poster.
Yes. And another thing about Megan's poster that you couldn't tell in the video, it is spot gloss. It has spot gloss on all of the berry colors, so the quote is shiny when you look at it in the light. So that is another little special thing about her poster as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much to our panelists. That was so great. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today, to open up, give us your insights. Thank you. Let's get some snap and clap reactions on the Zoom for our panelists. Thank you so much.
Can I clap multiple times?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
That was awesome.
We also want to just thank everyone for attending and participating in our event. Thank you to the artists and the agencies for donating their time and talent to our show. Thank you, panelists, again, for allowing us to pick your brains. Thank you to Raphael House for being our featured nonprofit for this event and for all the incredible work that you do. Thanks again to our sponsors, Outlet, Stevens Integrated Solutions, Seizure Palace, Laughing Planet, and thank you Design Week Portland for not only organizing this week, but all the work you do year-round. We want to give a special shout out to Francis Bolton for producing those awesome poster videos that you saw with the voiceovers, the zoom in, the panning through the work. That was amazing. That was so vital to our virtual poster show. Thank you so much, Francis. You're the best.
Talented kid, right?
Isn't he so talented?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Yes, Francis, thank you. Another special shout out goes to Mark Gerard for producing that lovely intermission video that you hopefully danced to, and it wasn't just me and Crystal. Mark is one of our talented designers at Murmur Creative. He also helped with this lovely presentation. Thank you so much, Mark. We appreciate you.
Yeah, look at that. See that digital portrait? You can have one of those of you for 4 posters or more. So
yes,
get on that because you know you want one. It warms our hearts that we were able to come together and support Raphael House. Our online poster shop will be open throughout the month of August. So be sure to purchase your posters soon and help us spread the word so we can sell out our entire shop. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be awesome, Crystal. That would be so awesome to sell out our shop. The more posters we sell, the more funds we raise for Raphael House. We can do this. And then your house or your home office, or if you're going into work, can be so nicely decorated.
Yeah, amazing. Oh my gosh, my house is going to be covered in everyone's artwork and it's going to be awesome. Just a reminder, this month there will be pickup hours at our office space for online purchases, Tuesdays from 10 to noon and Thursdays from 4 to 6. And posters are also available to be shipped. So just a reminder for that. And then I'm going to plug it again, man. Don't forget 4 more posters. Mark Gerard, the amazing, I'm going to say award-winning designer, because he wins so many awards in my heart, will be making digital sketches of you if you purchase 4 or more posters. So be sure and take advantage of that. Yeah.
I want to add, I've been getting compliments on mine because it's my email profile picture. So
there you go.
I'll let you know.
If you want compliments.
Yes. Exactly. And then I just want to give one last and another shout out to our print sponsors, Stevens Integrated Solutions, Outlet, and Seizure Palace. We love our relationships with you. We love you so much. You're so great to work with. And thank you so much for all that you do and for being partners with us. And we look forward to you partnering with us every year. Wink, wink. With that, have a great rest of the night, everybody. We ended early, so you have some time maybe to enjoy the light outside before. We just want you to stay safe and healthy and enjoy the rest of Design Week Portland. Check out all the other events going on. This was just the first day of Design Week Portland, so you have a whole week of more events to attend. So go check that out. Make sure you get your tickets. Remember, they're all virtual. Yes, so let's all support Design Week Portland as well. And just thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
That's a wrap.